Kendrick Lamar didn't drop a diss track, he didn't tweet, he didn't even say a word, he just laughed on stage in front of thousands, and the entire rap game felt it. That one moment during his Germany show might have said more than any verse ever could, because while Drake was live streaming from a fridge trying to revive the Iceman, Kendrick was leading the most dominant tour hip-hop has seen in years. Crowds chanting every word, stadiums shaking, and not a single lyric wasted. This wasn't just a performance, it was a reminder. Kendrick doesn't need to respond, the culture is already responding for him. Kendrick Lamar's European leg of the Pop-Out Grand National Tour has become more than just a string of sold-out shows. It's a cultural turning point in real time. As clips flood social media of entire stadiums chanting bar for bar with him, fans and critics alike are calling this one of the most significant hip-hop tours of the last decade. During his stop in Germany, Kendrick freestyled over family ties and delivered verses from Not Like Us with a level of crowd control that felt like a victory lap. And at one point, he even broke character, briefly laughing mid-performance at a line dissing Drake. It was a small moment, but one that went viral instantly. Meanwhile, Drake has been trying to relaunch his momentum with What Did I Miss?, a melodic track that doubles as a veiled response to the recent wave of dissies. Dropping it on July 4th, exactly 1 year after Kendrick's Not Like Us video, seemed intentional. But while Kendrick was rocking full stadiums overseas, Drake was live streaming from a fridge as part of his Iceman concept, a rollout that split fans. With both artists back outside, comparisons are inevitable. And right now, Kendrick's execution is undeniably resonating louder. What makes Kendrick Lamar's approach so potent is that he doesn't need to say Drake's name to make a statement. During his German shows, Kendrick performed Not Like Us with renewed energy, and when he reached the infamous 69 God line, he visibly laughed mid-verse, a rare break in his otherwise composed performances. That single laugh, caught on camera, sparked massive conversation online. It wasn't just mockery, it was confirmation that Kendrick had heard Drake's new track and simply wasn't threatened. He didn't respond with another diss track, he didn't post cryptic tweets. He let the moment speak for itself. Fans at the show caught the vibe instantly, chanting louder as if to echo Kendrick's confidence. The timing was key. This came just days after Drake released What Did I Miss?, a track filled with layered references to their feud. And yet, Kendrick didn't flinch. Instead, he performed in front of thousands, made a split-second reaction that went viral, and walked off without a word. For someone often described as reclusive or low profile, Kendrick is showing that his silence can be louder than bars. In an era full of noise, Kendrick's poise is cutting through clearer than ever. If you're locked in, hit like and subscribe, cause this is just getting started. Drake's return with What Did I Miss? Was supposed to reset the narrative. Instead, it added fuel to the fire. The song dropped on July 4th, 1 year to the day since Kendrick's Not Like Us music video premiered, a move many saw as symbolic. The rollout included a stream of Drake inside a refrigerator, adopting a character called the Iceman, and visuals that leaned into surrealism and satire. But for many fans and critics, it felt disconnected from the moment. While Kendrick was commanding stadiums with powerful organic performances, Drake's approach leaned more toward performance art, which drew mixed reactions. Some appreciated the creativity, others saw it as avoidance, a flashy distraction rather than a serious response. Adding to the scrutiny, Drake directly mentioned the pop-out concert in the lyrics, acknowledging the cultural moment Kendrick created just weeks earlier. Instead of shifting attention back in his favor, the song struggled to generate the impact expected from a Drake release. Streaming numbers lagged behind Kendrick's recent drops, and the rollout sparked more memes than momentum. The contrast between Kendrick's grounded presence and Drake's digital spectacle left many wondering if the gap between the two artists has never been wider. One of the most talked about side effects of Drake's latest release was how public figures reacted, especially LeBron James and Future. LeBron, who had previously supported Drake during the beef, shared a clip of himself listening to What Did I Miss? With no caption and a neutral expression. Some fans read it as support, others saw it as passive or even confused. Future, whose relationship with both artists has been long-standing, also remained reserved. What stood out wasn't just what they said, it was what they didn't say. In contrast, during Kendrick's performances, performances, the energy from the crowd was undeniable, and major artists in attendance, like Schoolboy Q and other TDE affiliates, were visibly hyped and vocal. The comparison became a talking point. Kendrick's moments felt celebrated, while Drake's new rollout felt observed, even questioned. While it's unfair to expect every public figure to pick sides, in a culture where celebrity reactions can shape perception, the silence or lukewarm engagement from people close to Drake added a layer of awkwardness. It wasn't backlash, but it wasn't cosign either, and in a beef where momentum is everything, the absence of loud support for Drake spoke volumes, especially as Kendrick continued to move with full cultural weight behind him. When Kendrick Lamar performed Not Like Us in Germany just days after Drake's new release, it wasn't just another show, it was a statement. The crowd's energy was explosive, with fans chanting every lyric like an anthem. Videos of the moment quickly spread across social media, showing tens of thousands moving in sync, echoing Kendrick's words back at him with precision and passion. But what truly elevated the moment was Kendrick's presence. He didn't just perform, he commanded. His movements were sharp, his delivery surgical, and his interactions with the crowd effortless. In one viral clip, Kendrick pauses mid-verse to let the stadium roar before jumping back in with a smirk, as if to remind everyone who's truly running the game right now. It wasn't about attacking Drake directly, it was about showing strength through execution. While Drake was battling mixed reviews online, Kendrick was leading one of the most culturally resonant tours hip-hop has seen in years. No gimmicks, no distractions, just music, performance, and impact. And when fans can feel the difference in real time, the message becomes undeniable. Kendrick doesn't have to say he's ahead. The world is already saying it for him, one stadium at a time. During Kendrick Lamar's second night in Germany, something subtle but unforgettable happened. As he performed Not Like Us, the crowd erupted right on cue during the infamous 69 God line, one of the most biting bars aimed at Drake. But instead of keeping his usual stone-faced delivery, Kendrick broke into laughter, just for a second, but it was enough. That single, unscripted moment quickly went viral, with fans dissecting it as a genuine reaction to Drake's recent song and overall rollout. It wasn't premeditated, it wasn't part of the choreography, it was pure instinct, and it told the world everything they needed to know. Kendrick had heard "What did I miss?" and wasn't threatened. He was amused. In the middle of one of the most high-stakes rap rivalries in years, Kendrick didn't flinch. He laughed. And when someone as disciplined and deliberate as Kendrick breaks character, people notice. The clip became more than just a meme. It became a cultural timestamp symbolizing the shift in power. Drake had responded, but Kendrick wasn't rattled. He was entertained. In an industry where perception is power, that laugh carried more weight than any lyric, and it reminded everyone, confidence doesn't always come in bars. Sometimes it's just a grin. What's made Kendrick Lamar's presence in this feud so impactful isn't just his music, it's his restraint. Since Drake's release of What Did I Miss?, Kendrick hasn't issued a public statement, dropped a rebuttal, or engaged in online back and forths. Instead, he's let the stage do all the talking, while Drake's rollout leaned into spectacle. With live streams, cryptic bars, and icy aesthetics, Kendrick has relied on performance, presence, and poise. His silence hasn't signaled weakness, it's projected dominance. Every move he makes, from the sequencing of his setlist to the deliberate use of pauses and gestures, has been interpreted as layered messaging. Even the decision not to respond directly to Drake's track suggests that Kendrick doesn't see it as a threat worthy of a lyrical counter. For someone whose words are chosen carefully and sparingly, the decision to not respond might be the biggest statement of all, and fans have taken notice, leaning into the idea that Kendrick's already won by choosing not to overplay his hand. In an era where clout chasing often trumps craft, Kendrick's minimalism feels like mastery. By staying silent, he's amplified his power, and in the court of public opinion, sometimes doing less says everything. While most of the spotlight has stayed on Drake and Kendrick, ASAP Rocky's recent misstep added another layer to the conversation about relevance and consistency in hip-hop. Rocky released a new single, meant to build anticipation for his long-teased album, but the response was underwhelming. The track failed to chart on Apple Music despite being an exclusive underperformed on Spotify, and was eventually pulled from YouTube after a poor reception. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were indifferent. That's the deeper concern. Once seen as part of rap's next next elite alongside Kendrick and Drake, Rocky now faces growing frustration from a fan base that's waited nearly a decade for a proper album. His focus on fashion, branding, and celebrity life, while valid pursuits, has made his musical output feel secondary. The result? A disconnect. Not because Rocky lacks talent, but because he's lost trust. And in a climate where Kendrick is going above and beyond to deliver high-impact, high-effort performances, Rocky's inconsistency feels amplified. His recent flop doesn't just signal a bad release. It raises questions about whether he can reclaim space in a rap world that's moving fast. And as hip-hop evolves, artists who don't adapt or engage meaningfully are finding themselves left behind. A$AP Rocky's recent stumble isn't just about one underperforming single. It's the result of years of inconsistent musical output. Fans have been waiting nearly a decade for a follow-up to his last major album, and each time Rocky teases a new project, it ends in disappointment. His latest single was promoted as a lead-up to the long-anticipated album, but it failed to gain traction, both in numbers and cultural buzz. After weak streaming performance and lukewarm reception, the music video was pulled entirely. An unprecedented move for an artist once considered a top-tier figure in rap. This moment reflects a critical shift. Rocky hasn't just delayed his album, he's trained his audience to expect delays and no payoff. Over time, that erodes loyalty. Fans don't rush to hear new songs because they no longer believe anything meaningful is coming. And when even loyal listeners stop caring, the danger becomes irrelevance. Not because of a lack of talent, but a lack of presence. In contrast to Kendrick's consistency and engagement, Rocky's silence and scattershot releases have hurt him. The frustration isn't rooted in hate, it's disappointment. Because at one point, people believed A$AP Rocky was destined to be one of the leaders of this generation. As the dust settles around Drake's latest rollout and A$AP Rocky's stalled comeback, one truth has become impossible to ignore. Kendrick Lamar is setting a new standard for what greatness looks like in hip-hop right now. It's not just about the music, it's about consistency, cultural impact, and care for the craft. Every performance on the Grand National Tour has felt like a masterclass in energy, precision, and storytelling. Kendrick isn't chasing headlines, he's creating moments. From his viral crowd interactions to the subtle jabs that echo louder than full-blown disses, he's redefining what power looks like without needing to overshare or over-explain. And that contrast is becoming more visible with every move his peers make. Drake's experimental rollout drew more confusion than clarity. Rocky's absence left a gap he's now struggling to refill. Meanwhile, Kendrick's silence, presence, and discipline have amplified his momentum. The message is simple. In today's hip-hop landscape, gimmicks aren't enough. Consistency, authenticity, and connection matter more than ever. And right now, Kendrick is the blueprint. Whether artists want to match his level or not, the gap is growing. And for fans watching closely, it's clear who's leading and who's chasing. What we're witnessing isn't just a few missteps from top-tier rappers, it's a realignment of hip-hop's hierarchy. Kendrick Lamar isn't just winning a feud, he's raising the bar for what artistry, presence, and consistency should look like in 2025. While Drake experiments with persona-driven rollouts and A$AP Rocky struggles to reignite interest, Kendrick is showing what it means to deliver at the highest level, without shortcuts, without gimmicks, and without delay. The difference is stark. One artist is evolving in real time, and the other are stuck trying to recapture something that may be slipping away. If you've been paying attention, you already know, moments like Kendrick laughing mid-verse aren't random, they're symbolic. They show us who's in control, who's unbothered, and who's truly connecting with the culture right now. Let me know in the comments, do you think Kendrick has officially separated himself from the rest of the field? And what does this mean for artists like Drake and A$AP moving forward? Be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you never miss another breakdown like this.